wrestling bits. Subscribe now.
I know you're in a committed relationship with the very talented Uly Diaz, but I feel like we never got a payoff to what I'm pretty certain was the biggest Twitter romance of 2019 between you and Dave Batista. Big Dave, I remember covering this story and it blew up, and I was just shocked at how interested people were with you guys going back and forth and people following your every move. I know there was a date scheduled, but what happened? Was there a date? Who paid? I want all the tea on you and Batista.
You got it. So Dave and I have been great friends for many, many years. Actually, it goes way back before that Twitter exchange. Actually, props to Titus O'Neil, who I was partnered with in WWE for Titus Worldwide. Titus and Dave get along super great, best of friends. And Titus had connected Dave and I. And little do you know, we talked way before that Twitter exchange. On Twitter, I was quite shocked, to be honest with you, that we went back and forth, and like anything, it went 0 to 100 really fast, and like me, I'm a very private person, so usually I like to keep things on the DL and on the down, and exchanging text messages, but this was the complete opposite. It was open to the world, for the world to see. And it actually carried into a storyline with WWE, and Drake Maverick was trying to get after me, but he was also intimidated by Dave. Later on that year, Dave and I have, we went out. We were great friends. We've been to the meat market down in Tampa. We go to Edison's Kitchen, also in Tampa. So we've kept in great contact. There was always been interest between Dave and I as far as, friendship and everything. We share a lot in common as far as being in the business and outside, and being very passionate about giving back and charity work as well. It's just with my schedule being so busy, and Dave, doing a lot of movies, it just, our times are very limited. But we still communicate, we still talk on a regular basis. My boyfriend now, Uly, and him also have a lot in common as far as the fight game goes. So they're constantly back and forth. And I got a pit bull now, and Dave has too. So we have so much in common. We're on great friends.
And so was it?
Yeah, that's
Was there ever a sense of romance when you guys were out hanging out, or like you said, you guys are really good friends? Going into this, did you guys kind of decide, let's kind of screw with people a little bit and do this thing on Twitter and see where this goes?
Yeah, everything was very flirty, just as far as Twitter. But we never want to cross lines. We never wanted to put a light or dim our friendship. We always are super passionate about our friendship and keeping the ball rolling on that. We never wanted to take away from what we had, and we knew at that point in time that his schedule was busy, my schedule was busy, and so we just wanted to remain friends.
Now, at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of companies had to pivot and whatnot. WWE, unfortunately, had to make a lot of cuts. And there was a time at the beginning where, a lot of people had to be cut. And I know you had resigned with WWE, but there was a lot of uncertainty. So was there ever a time during this pandemic where you thought that you might have to consider other options outside of WWE, where you might be one of those people who unfortunately lost their jobs like so many have during this pandemic?
It is definitely very unfortunate to watch a lot of my friends and fellow coworkers during this time and get furloughed or had gotten let go with the company. I'm very confident in myself and who I am as a person, and also what I bring to WWE. With that being said, you just never know what tomorrow brings. That goes with everything in my life, inside the ring and also outside the ring. So always, yes, I always love to have a backup plan, and I always like to think outside of the box, because you never, like I said, you never know what tomorrow brings. But I was confident that I bring a lot to WWE, not only in the ring but outside, as far as community work and the outreach program that I am involved in. And I have very close relationships with a lot of the writers, the community workers, and also Vincent and myself. We're on very good terms, where I in NXT. Then I had tagged up with Tennille. Her name was Emma. And we had a great, tag run together. Then coming onto the main roster, I was Charlotte Flair's protege, and I dressed up as Ric Flair, as Vince had wanted me to do so. And then Charlotte and I ran for a while. Then I went back to being a singles competitor. Then they wanted me to be a statistician with Titus Worldwide. I did that, and now here I am, years later, now tagged up with Mandy Rose, which I feel like everything has kind of created a path and a way to, this makes sense, this is the most sense, and this is truly who I am as Ashley Mesa Vera, but also as Dana Brooke, and what you are seeing now is who I am as a person. So with going back on what you had asked, everything that I have been given, every opportunity that has been handed to me, I feel as though I've knocked it out of the park, so they see somebody that they can count on all ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, and you talk about knocking it out of the park. I actually loved you and Charlotte together. It was such a great dynamic of you as Charlotte Flair's muscle, but at the same time, the understudy. You could kind of see that storyline could have led to like a long-term feud between you two or something like that. But that actually kind of got broken up. And like you said, you had to pivot on and do something else and kind of reinvent yourself. What happened throughout that angle to where you were kind of suddenly moved away from Charlotte Flair?
I always say there's a payoff going to happen. It's always going to happen, and that's something that I'm grateful for, that I have in my back pocket. To when we end up on the same brand, we can run with it again. We can definitely pick up from where we left off. And I know during that time is when the brand split started to happen, with Raw being on USA and SmackDown being on Fox. That's something that we had to stop. She had went over to SmackDown, I do believe, when that time and that split had happened. So my payoff, I had one great match where I felt the crowd, and they were so electrified. They were electric. I felt it. I felt it in my blood, in my veins. I felt the crowd just kind of come on my side, and finally saw that I had enough. And with that being said, with the years that have gone by, has only made me a stronger competitor on my own two feet. So being able to face Charlotte once again, she'll see a whole different person in front of her, because I know her strategy, I know her tactics, I know everything that she has done. I was alongside with her, and with that being said, I was with her in NXT when we were training alongside, in the gym, outside of the gym, being on the road with her. So I know her like the back of my hand. And again, it's a real life situation. You have those people in the real world that you can count on, that you feel as though are such great friends of yours. But then one way or another, they'll kind of use you and manipulate you to get what they want out of certain situations. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And then if you stand on your own two feet, and again, kind of come into a conflict of a situation, and you feel like you are the stronger person, you might be able to come out on top. And I feel like that's the next step in the story of Charlotte Flair and Dana Brooke.
You talk about your journey and your improvements, and a lot of people noticed improvements with you even recently, and so much so, especially with me. And you could go back and look. I picked you to win Money in the Bank. You know, it was kind of an oddball pick, but I just saw how much you were improving, how much they were doing with you. You had just resigned, and I just thought it was your time to win Money in the Bank. I thought I was a genius when you actually did retrieve a briefcase, but it turns out it was just a bunch of cash. So let me ask you, did they at least let you keep the cash? And if not, did you get to keep that briefcase as kind of like a memento in terms of the pandemic Money in the Bank that they did pre-taped?
Money in the Bank, I will say, that was one of my highlights, both of them. One from 2019, and then currently this year, the 2020 Money in the Bank. I love competing in Money in the Bank. This year wasn't my year, let's say, but I definitely felt like I was the MVP of that match. I got massive response on Twitter, on Instagram, just, saying how amazing I performed. And, me being the silly one of that situation and going up for the cash briefcase, not thinking that I had won, I'll never forget that feeling and that memory. And yes, they do give me, a nice little chunk of change. And WWE always seems to take care of me, but it's a memory that I will forever hold close to my heart. And I do have a huge, huge, huge picture in my house of Carmella smashing me over the head with a briefcase in my hand, and her picture being, smashed over my head. So I have that to always remind me not to make silly choices on the spot.
So where's that briefcase? Where's that glass briefcase with all the cash? Is it somewhere in maybe a WWE warehouse, or is that something that maybe you've requested to?
It's still in WWE headquarters, hanging loud and proud in that office room. So when I go back, I always say, "Oh, okay, yeah, I remember this spot. I remember this situation."
That's awesome. You should take it. You should just one of these days, just it'll disappear from the boardroom and nobody has to know.
Exactly. Nobody has to know. You're 100% correct. Nobody's got to know. It's my little secret, right? That's the least that they could do for me.
Now, you've done a lot of videos on Instagram showing that you're kind of changing up your style. I've seen some striking videos with you. You've hired Orlando Cuellar as your striking coach, and you've been doing a lot of that stuff. Are we to expect maybe more of a wholesale change to the Dana Brooke character? Have you ever considered changing up your type of wrestling style to more of a shoot style?
Yes, actually. Well, I think I want to add it to my repertoire. I love being versatile in the ring and outside of the ring. Recently, I feel like I've just changed my outlook, appearance, and incorporate different styles of training. In the beginning, my boyfriend is Uly Diaz, who is a pro boxer, an MMA fighter, and also a bare knuckle fighter. So it just goes to show that I like to adapt to certain changes. And I remember during this quarantine, we set up a gym in the backyard with a boxing ring and a whole bunch of different bags, and we built our own gym in the backyard. And I was doing my own circuit training in the back, as far as the medicine ball, battle ropes, and just everything that I do, weights. And I was looking at Uly hitting the mitts, and I've always been super curious about boxing and that form of fighting. And I had asked his coach, who is very famous. His name is Coach Commander Zero. His first name is Orlando. I had asked him, I said, "Hey, is there any way you could teach me a thing or two? And I've never done this before." And he's like, yeah, and let's throw some gloves on. So I threw some gloves on, and he taught me, and he was like, "Wow, Ash, you're a natural." He's like, "You swear you've never done this before?" I go, "No, I promise you I've never done this before." And then slowly from there, every single day, I've been hitting the mitts, I've been hitting the back. Also, I've done a lot of body sparring with men and women. And recently, it was the first time, I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago, I stepped in the ring with Uly, and I did a couple body rounds and sparring with him. He took it definitely lightly on me, but I let him have it. And again, it goes back to wrestling, because you never know who you're going to get in the ring with. I've been in the ring with Ronda Rousey, and what I know now, I wish I would have known then, because it would have definitely given me an advantage. And I feel like now I have an advantage on most of the girls, as far as I'm very athletic, as far as my gymnastics background, and then strong, it goes back to my fitness background. And now boxing I have in my back pocket, which allows me to give a different type of fight and a different feel in the ring, as far as submission moves and getting a girl in the corner and doing some body shots. So I feel like I'm very versatile now in the ring. Before I had a couple things, now I have all the things.
Yeah, every time I see you in the ring, I do think of that striking video, and you're right. You are a natural in terms of just how you strike the bag and hit the bag. And whenever I see you, I think if they just let her do that, if they just let her do that to an opponent for 15 seconds in a match, she stands out, and this is something that could take off. And then Raw Underground comes along, and every week I saw Raw Underground, I'm thinking, this is Dana Brooke's opportunity. Is that something that you thought maybe you could be part of, or did you have any desires to be part of Raw Underground?
Yes, so the funny thing is I was on SmackDown when Raw Underground had debuted and made a statement with Shane McMahon. And when I was on SmackDown, I go, "Oh my God, this would be perfect for me, perfect for me." And then I had Uly actually fought in Raw I was like, this is just right up his alley, right, what he's made for. And he came out and fought Dolph Ziggler on Raw Underground, and then, my brain starts going. I'm like, this is perfect. If we came out, male and female, taking over Raw Underground, oh, this would just be incredible. So then I had that switched over to Raw, pre-draft a couple weeks back, and right now, they'll start Raw Underground again, and then definitely I'm going to get my feet wet in that and really take off from there and really show a different side of me that the WWE Universe and also the world has not seen yet from Dana Brooke. So, it's definitely a different side of me that I'm very, very excited to show.
Do we have breaking news here? I don't want to misquote you, but have we not seen the last of Raw Underground?
No. I do believe that Raw Underground will come back. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure. I really have no idea. I just know that with the last couple weeks with the draft and everything that has happened, they didn't have time, or I really have no idea. It was a shock to me, though, to see that there was no Raw Underground. But I'm hoping and I am praying that it will definitely come back soon, and I'll make a statement.
Oh, that's really awesome. Let's hope so. Yeah, I'd love to see you when they're mixing it up. Now, you mentioned Ronda Rousey. I know you developed somewhat of a relationship with her. You were one of the women who got to work with Ronda Rousey in a one-on-one capacity. Do you have any information or inkling as to if or when she's going to return to the wrestling ring or return to WWE?
Yeah, I would love for her to return to WWE. When she had left, I know that it wasn't a goodbye forever. I do believe that she may make an appearance again with WWE. Ronda and I have a great relationship. We have great chemistry in the ring. I'll never forget when she came to WWE. It was like a little fish in a big pond for her. It was, in the UFC and in the fight world, everyone's out to get everybody. So I do understand Ronda coming in and being, who she is as a female and an icon and standing her ground. But I was like, Ronda, listen, this is a family. WWE is a family. Put your stuff down. Don't worry about it. Get in the ring. Let's roll around and let's have some fun. We're here to create everybody on the other side of the TV and everybody in the crowd to smile and have a great time. She's like, yeah, really. And we developed a great friendship. I know, I was up for the Raw Women's Championship against her, and whatever needed to get done for that, I was going to have to do, and may the best woman win. I completely understand that, but she made me step up to the plate and show that nothing is impossible, and I respect her for that because she brought a different side out of me that a lot of the WWE Universe had never felt that from me. And everything that I had said, everything that I came out, I remember it like it was yesterday. I cut a heartfelt promo, and I put my hair up in just a regular ponytail, barely any makeup, and I was like, look, this is who I am. This is me. This is like everybody out there that feels like that they can't do something, but they want to do something. Now is your chance. And Ronda truly did respect me for that. Coming out front, she's like, I felt that. I go, that was real. That was this is who I am. This is how I feel. And you brought that out in me where it was like, you are the baddest woman on the planet, and I'm stepping up to you, so I respect you. And she's like, I can't say anything else. She's like, girl, you really earned my respect. And we've communicated in the last year. We touched base here and there. I'm so happy that she's doing well. And to look at it, she's never had a life where she could just relax and unwind. She's always been training, or movies and gearing up for a fight and being on the road with WWE for well over a year and training. She deserves this time just to breathe and relax. And I truly hope she does make another appearance within WWE. And it's safe to say I believe she will soon.
You talked about standing out on your own in that promo and just kind of showing the world who you are. You've done such a good job of reinventing yourself throughout your career. But now, here's another reinvention of you as a tag team performer alongside Mandy Rose. So how's that transition been for you to go from a singles competitor to now a tag team competitor?
It's a great fit. I will say Mandy came out of a tag. She was in a tag team with Sonya Deville earlier in her career and up to a couple months ago. But again, we're both, I say this all the time, we still are both single competitors. But the two of us fit. We make the perfect combination. We make the best partnership. We look great together. It's a yin to my yang type thing. And I say this, I've seen Mandy from before she was even signed with WWE. Coming from the fitness world, she was in WBFF. I was in the IFBB, both female fitness competitors. And then she stepped into WWE a couple years after me, and I saw her coming up in Tough Enough. And I actually trained those girls in Tough Enough when they were trying out for WWE. So I went down to the Performance Center, and I was training with Mandy. I was training with a girl named Sarah Lee down in the PC. And when I saw Mandy, this is years ago, I said, she's got what it takes. She has the look. She has the physique. She has a personality that she's just fun. She's outgoing. She's bubbly. And then when I had seen her hired to WWE, I was like, yes, this is great. Not ever thinking years go by, we're going to be tag teaming or partnering up together. And so, so she had come down, she signed with WWE, and I remember she said, hey, Ash, I have a ton of clothes. Is there any way that you can store? I said, yeah. Come and store the clothes in my closet. No worries, no anything. And then I saw she had the same kind of fashion sense as me, and we shared the same clothes. Everything was great. Now here we are. I mean, this is now 5-6 years later, and now we're teaming up together, and it's a perfect fit. We look the same. We speak the same. We think the same. We train the same. It just is a great fit for us, but yet we're still single competitors. She can go in and fight a singles match, and I'll be, standing there cheering her on loud and proud, and vice versa. But I think, for the tag team champions, we're definitely strong enough, and we train hard enough, and we have very similar goals in that fact.
Thank you so much for the time. I'm going to leave you with one more question. I really appreciate this. This has been so fun. I understand that you're a cookie aficionado, so I just want to know, what is your number one favorite cookie? I've had many a heated debate about this, and I would like to know from a cookie aficionado what your number one favorite cookie is.
My number one favorite cookie, oh my God. I love a classic chocolate chip cookie. I love a classic chocolate chip cookie.
Wow.
Hands down. But I'm a chocolate fanatic. So anything, if it's double chocolate, if it's white chocolate with chocolate chip, I mean, whatever kind of chocolate chip cookie it is. And WWE, I will tell you this, they have the best cookies in catering like nobody knows. I mean, nobody knows. And after work, I'll be working, and I've trained my butt off. I've lost a ton of weight. I've really transformed my figure and my look. So I always tell myself, I deserve a cookie. I deserve a cookie from catering. And what I do is, we're performing in Orlando, Florida, and I live in Miami, Florida. So Uly will come and pick me up, and she loves oatmeal cookies, and I love my chocolate chip cookies, and I'm like Cookie Monster, just putting cookies in my bag. Instead of the cookie jar, I have my purse next to me, and I'm just putting cookies in my bag, and we get in the car, and we talk about what happened at work, and we're just, having the time of our life. And also, it's funny, because Uly has a fight November the 13th for bare knuckle, but before this, we were infamous for ordering night owl cookies or insomnia cookies all the time. And it was it started to become a problem, because I was always craving something super sweet at night, and night owl cookies they were at our doorstep by 12 or 1 in the morning. So a classic chocolate chip cookie, I can't go wrong. What is yours, if you don't mind me asking?
Red velvet, 100%. But listen, nothing wrong with chocolate chip. Yeah, I love red velvet, but no, I will never argue with chocolate chip. I mean, that is the OG of cookies, an excellent cookie. And I just thought of something. If you go back and you steal your rightful briefcase from that boardroom, that's another place to put all those cookies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, that's a really good point. I think I'm going to go, tell Vince that on Monday. Hey, be like, Vince, let me tell you something. I don't need the cash in there. I just need that briefcase. And I'm like, why? Why do you need that? I need to take all the cookies from catering and put it in that briefcase.
There it is.
Maybe that's the selling point.
Absolutely. Don't tell them that it was my idea, but yes, absolutely do that. Dana Brooke, so much fun. I really appreciate this. I really enjoyed your journey and seeing you grow in WWE, and here's to many more years of success.
Thank you so much. I'm greatly appreciated. And, forever, if you ever want to touch base here in the future, please let me know. I'm always up for interviews and doing a lot of things outside of WWE as well that I would love to talk about too. So whenever, the time is right, I'm always here, and I'm really blessed and honored for you taking the time and talking with me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.